Welcome back, beautiful souls, to another deep dive here on Kiara's Spirituality Podcast, where we sip on truth, unravel mysteries, and ignite that inner flame. I'm your host, Kiara, and today I want to share something personal, the origin story of the empath archetypes that were channeled into my book, The Cosmic Connection. These archetypes changed my life, and they've begun transforming others. Let's discover how you can unlock your sacred empathic blueprint to grow, heal, and fully embody who you came here to be. Let's talk about it through the book. So this is my special copy. I ended up creating this through Barnes & Noble. They have a different platform than Amazon, but you can get my book on Amazon. I'm really excited to share that with you guys because I have been working on this book for 14 years. If you didn't see my episode where I explained the book, you could go ahead and check it out here. But for now, we are going to talk about why I began this journey in the first place. Once upon a time, when I was really going through a huge transition with my friends, I remember being about 18 years old. I had graduated from high school in 2013, and I know I'm dating myself, but...
View discretion is advised. Hello, beautiful souls. Before we dive deep into the mysteries of the unknown, here's a little heads up. This podcast video explores intense topics, unconventional beliefs, and mind-bending theories from the supernatural to secret societies, past lives, and things that go bump in the night. Everything discussed here is based on research, experiences, and personal perspectives. Some topics may challenge reality, question mainstream narratives, or spark wild debates. And that's okay. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is a judgment-free, open-minded space where curiosity thrives. If you are easily spooked or uncomfortable with deep dive discussions on the strange and mysterious, proceed with caution or click away. Now, grab your tea, open your mind, and ignite your inner flame. Let's get started.
My birthday is literally tomorrow, so when this video comes out, which I'm hoping it comes out today before tomorrow, it's the full moon in Sagittarius, and I felt like it was kind of important to manifest through why I'm even doing the book in general. The book is made to create these programs, to create platforms, to create expansion, and it's because of the journey where I started that I wanted to create as many tools and resources for you guys to actually expand, grow, build, heal, learn about spirituality and yourself, mostly for yourself. There's a lot of mental health challenges across the world. I think that psychology has helped in some capacity, especially with people like Dr. Carl Jung, even Dolores Cannon, and a few other substantially amazing people I've listed in my book. You'll have to check it out. Each of those people have contributed to mental health and awareness and self-empowerment and self-healing. I looked to those people for years to heal, to develop myself, to grow, to network, to heal a lot of the trauma and the pain that I went through. I don't have to get all sobby and tell you my personal life story, but I have gone through a lot of challenges, and when I feel comfortable enough to share them publicly, I will. But if you know me and you come to my programs, I'm very open and honest about everything that happened in my life. I know I look all dressed up today. I am celebrating my birthday, so bear with me. And you'll hear my cat screaming because she thinks that she could be loud while I'm recording. But when the journey began, I was quite young. I really didn't start expanding and developing until about 18, but I really started looking into all of this since I was quite little. My mom was really into spirituality. She was very connected to astrology, and she opened my eyes to a lot of really cool concepts, ancient aliens, especially spirituality in general, telling me that I need to do a lot of research so that I could pick what my religion would be if I ever decided to be religious. We did go to church. I grew up in a Catholic, Baptist, Lutheran, you name it, household, so quite an influence through the church, and I never resonated with any of it. I wanted to know more. So when I went through all the pain, I went through the trauma, the challenges, the things that made me step away from family since I was quite young, like 13, I think is really when I started separating completely from the family. Through that, I found my friends that I had met in middle school, but we grew closer when I moved away. When I was in 7th grade, halfway through 7th grade, I moved away from Arizona to California, which was 1,000 miles.
Making my way downtown, walking fast.
And when going through that, my friends that were in Arizona and I became so close that we started to tap into our spirituality without even really knowing it. I don't know if I'll mention who they are or not, just to respect them or whatever's going on in their world, but you could just think of them as my friends. Maybe someday I'll share who those people were. Through those experiences, we would mess around with spirituality in a lot of ways because we were very experimental with trying to figure out what spirituality was. So we would channel, not even knowing we were channeling. We would tell each other things that there's no way we would know about each other. We would have experiences with curiosities in spirituality, so researching even like history of like Wiccans and witches, and we looked into Buddhism, we looked into Hinduism because of yoga and because of chakras and crystals and energy. It just on and on and on, so many different areas that we just experimented on from when we were pretty much 10, 11 years old until our adulthood. Through that, we had connections, some of us more than others, me and my best friend in particular, not that the other, there was a group of 4 of us. We were all really close, but one person in particular, we were able to channel with each other in a way that I found out later was immersive channeling. And it was where we would somehow tap into each other's emotions. So we were very empathic, and we would feel each other's energy, and we'd feel each other's emotions and experiences. And then we started doing something called astral travel, where when we would talk on the phone late at night, sometimes into the next day, sometimes early in the morning the next day, we somehow could see what was going on around each other. We started doing more than astral traveling, where we actually were doing automatic writing, and we were doing astral projection, and so many things, so many spiritual experiences that I'll eventually put into a book. It just enhanced my gifts and her gifts and the other girls' gifts too. I think all of us really developed our gifts, but we didn't really know. We didn't have a mentor. We didn't have a teacher. So the next idea is when did I realize that I was sensitive? I get this question all the time. When did I realize that I was intuitive? I noticed very young, like first couple of years of birth, first, second, third year, fourth year. I was very sensitive, always saw things. I don't know what people will believe about ghosts. I always believed in ghosts. I've seen ghosts. I've had experiences with that world. That's why I research it. That's why we talk about it here on the podcast, because I believe heavily in it. I had too many experiences that I've mentioned in other interviews that have made me believe in ghosts. I always felt empathic. I could feel what other people's feel. And it's, in a sense, like if you guys ever want an example, watch Daredevil. I didn't watch it when it first came out. My partner and I started watching it together. Just this past year, I realized that I was doing what he was doing, where he didn't see, he's blind in the show. If you read the comics, Daredevil is blind because of an accident that happened, but his extrasensory abilities, he could hear things, see things, smell things in a different way than normal people, and I really resonate with that as a person. I feel like I'm able to pick up on subtleties that people have energetically, and I always did that, so I analyzed people from a young age.
I even know if she's a beautiful woman. I don't know. It's kind of spooky, actually. But if there's a stunning woman with questionable character in the room, Matt Murdock's gonna find her, and Foggy Nelson is gonna...
So the question is, what pain or confusion made you seek structure or clarity through archetypes? The way that I can explain that without going too much into it in a way that I feel uncomfortable is I had grown up with my father being an alcoholic, and in that there was a lot of family struggles that I came into life experiencing. My parents were separated from their parents because of their own parents and them personal challenges. And my mom found out that she was pregnant with me, with my dad. And in that experience, it brought a lot of the family back to their lives. So there was a lot of healing that was happening. There was a lot of change that was happening. But my dad, still having gone through the challenges that he went through, he turned to alcoholism to numb the pain and to heal himself. And if your question is like, do you still have contact with this person? Yes, but it's taken many years. I'm going to be 30 this year. Yes, I'll give you my age as of 2025. And it took my entire life now, thus far, to heal and process and put in effort in the relationship. And I'm not saying that I haven't been suggested otherwise, like to not have participation in healing with my parents, and then also being suggested to do so. It goes both ways, and I decided that I wanted a relationship with them in some capacity. So I put in a lot of effort to heal that. But it was through losing my friends that I had mentioned before that I'd grown such a strong spiritual, emotional, mental bond, and the lack of physical that pulled us apart eventually when I moved back to Arizona to go to school and to be with my friends again, because I felt like I not only through the abandonment that I felt from my parents and going to an all-girls boarding Catholic school for high school, then to be taken away from, my friends when I was in middle school into high school and then come back. It was a full journey of this abandonment, and having come back, not healing all of those things, my friends and I had a huge falling out, which caused detrimental and some irreparable damage, especially with those people independently. We are no longer talking, which is so unfortunate because I don't think that they had the tools to deal with the pain that I had. And had I gotten help, or had I had a mentor, had I had the book that I created for you guys, I may have been able to navigate those feelings of trauma and pain and codependency and anger and aggression and survival better. I would have been able to understand myself better, so I could have navigated those emotions better and not lose my friends. I don't know, things happen for a reason, but I wasn't going to hold on to the idea that we'll ever come back to be together, because I think it was something I needed to heal and grow from as well. So for those of you with challenges, say you've lost friends or family or partners or whoever out of pain or trauma, sometimes that's a good thing because it makes you a better person. And, say that you had this book and say you had tools that could help you. Maybe it'll just make you heal on a level that's so deep that you can navigate some of those feelings and forgive yourself and them and the situation. I was always intuitive, but I didn't know really how to explain what I felt or why I felt it so much, ergo why the book came to be. I've been taking notes for 14 years, since I was 16, because my best friend and I had our first fight right before my 16th birthday, and it was so intense because I was being emotionally incapable of communicating what I was experiencing, and she is very sensitive as I was, so we had that falling out, and I took notes, lots of notes. Any research we did, anything about chakras, healing, tools, wellness, spirituality, psychology, astrology, you name it. I still have books and books in my closet, all the books of notes that we took or that we did together growing up. And I just compacted all of it into knowledge. I fine-tuned it, I researched it, I developed it, I built it, and turned it into this book. And the book has so many concepts in it, and it's so easy to understand because I've funneled through so much books of paperwork, of writing, and through my own experiences and research that I could fine-tune it for you guys. In my healing journey, I realized that our energy, it's not random, it follows patterns. And those patterns, when understood, you can get your power back because you're receptive to how you're behaving, how you're interacting, how you're communicating, how you're navigating your emotions, whether you're reacting or you're observing, which I explain in the book. Reaction is that immediate response, and observation is being able to take a step back, even if, no matter what you're feeling, angry, sad, happy, whatever. And it helps. And that's when I started downloading what I now call the Empath archetypes. These are 5 unique energy embodiments that I saw across clients, friends, and even within myself, my family. I wanted to introduce those archetypes with you, the empathic archetypes. I wanted to introduce those empathic archetypes with you and just briefly define each one so that you can kind of hear what they are and that real life trait and scenario, what they relate to. You can save each of these deeper tools for a later episode. If you want to keep it, you could write notes, you can observe it, but it's great to take note about what these archetypes are. The first one we're going to go into is the most interesting one that I was unable to give a name other than this. So I ended up having a retreat, and I saw these traits in one of the people I was working with, this amazing woman. And I had mentioned to her, like, oh, you are coming across as this energy type. But when it comes out, a lot of times people react rather than hear the word. But the word for the archetype is the void word, right? So when you think about void, some people think of it as a negative connotation. But it's a powerful thing. When you think of a black hole, what is one of the most powerful things in the universe? It's a black hole. The energy that moves towards it, it's unshakable. It draws energy so deep to it that it's potently powerful, right? So I call that the emotional mirror. These archetypes, in essence, feel everything. They absorb unspoken pain. A lot of times people that hold this are the ones that carry the weight of others. An example, when you walk into a room and you feel heavy, that could be void energy. When you walk into a room and you feel like everybody's having a great time and it's like this one person that's drawing the energy, like the world is moving around them, that is void energy. It goes both ways, right? The next one is the nova, which is the prettiest sounding one. It's kind of funny though, because the connotation for a nova is the exploding star, because a supernova is when a star is caving in on itself and it pops, right? And it's that boost, that power of energy, but it pops, but it builds up over time. So this is the luminous catalyst. It's someone who shines bright, uplifts, but they also can burn out. So it's finding a way to have a flow. Like, say you're someone who, like, it takes you a long time to feel whether it's a heated emotion or a positive emotion, and it builds up over time. Always the fixer, always the inspirer until they burn out, right? So if you know that you're this type of person, you could read about that archetype so that you could avoid the burnout, and you'll know this about yourself, so you have tools and techniques to channel through properly. The next one is an exo. This reminds me of a harmonic weaver, someone who can turn frequency and transmute it into a balance. When I think about this, I think about the analogy of a spider building her web. A spider is the most magnificent creature. When you look at their webs, it's so complex. They know where each little string goes, and not only that, the web supplies their entire life, their home, their space, their food, their family, everything. It's the surrounding frequency of it. So this person is the energy matchmaker who can't not feel dissonance. So this is the person that when they're holding all the space for others, they're the relator, they're the hold space person, they're the one that can change the energy, they can make you change the way you feel inside and out and help you transmute that. Sometimes they can also take on the things of other people and change themselves. The next one is endo, which is the opposite of the exo. Obviously exo out, endo in. This is the inner sage, the deep processor, the inner knower. This is the wisdom keeper who often hides their light. So this is a person that's usually in the background instead of in the foreground. They're observing a lot. They're taking in all the energy around them, and they have profound advice. They have profound words and thoughts when they observe the people around them. But a lot of times these people are not action starters for their own lives. So if you know this about yourself, finding a way to take the knowledge that you learn and transmute it into your own power as well, not just for others when you drop those wisdom bombs. The last one is auto, which is something I wanted to bring to the foreground. I wanted 5 in particular because there's 5 parts of the human in different cultures. That is your head, your 2 arms, your legs, but it's also the elements, water, fire, earth, air, and ether. There's so many relations to why I picked 5, and auto is the reason why. It is the self-reliant beacon. This is a person that is the heart of the energy around them. The independent, they're strong field. This person doesn't ask for help, yet everyone comes to them. If you're this kind of person, maybe you're a mix of some of these archetypes. Maybe you're all of them, maybe you're none of them. The idea behind this person is that they're the ones that hold the space as far as people know, no matter what, that they can go to this person, and sometimes that person could be taken advantage of for holding that space because they're a self-starter, self-doer, self-actor. The reason I picked these 5, and you could be a mix of all of them, I would say that you're at least one of them. Every single person, I feel, from what I've experienced in thousands of clients over the years, they embody one of these compounds, or sometimes a couple. So I wanted to share those with you so that you can see them and feel them. When you're talking about identifying your archetype and why these archetypes heal, you'll look at what your spirit body's strengths are, where you give away energy, what tools help you stay in alignment, and how you turn weaknesses into superpowers. So when you find your archetype, you no longer ask, what's wrong with me? You ask, what am I here to understand and use for the greatest good, or for my highest good, or for whatever my goals are? That shift alone creates healing, because now you're not lost in sensitivity, you're guided by it. So how can listeners find theirs? Those of you that are watching this. I invite you to take on my upcoming Empath Archetype quiz. It's out. You can actually find it on my channel, on my website. If you go into my blog location, I actually break down each individual archetype and tell you all about each one. It's awesome to read all of them because it gives you perspective to other people, but if you just want to know about yourself, it's the tagged most top quiz that you could take on my website. I will also link it in the description. So each guide will include tools, mantras, healing practices, crystals, spirit body strengths. I put a lot of information in there for you guys to know each parts of yourself. Even in the book itself, I tell you what are the tools, what are the things you could do, what are the talents, what are the zodiac signs that archetype play into, So if you're ready to find out if you're a void, a nova, an exo, an endo, or an auto, please visit my website, crystalprophecy.live-blog. Take the quiz, totally free, and it might just be the soul key that you've been searching for. Now, your empathic nature is not your burden. I want you to really hear that. Your empathic nature is not your burden. It's your blueprint. Whether you're a deep feeling void, or a radiant nova, or a sage-like endo, you are here to embody a specific frequency. And when you do, you light up the world. So thank you for letting me share my heart out today. And not only that, but partaking in, if you would like to buy the book and learn more about yourself and some of these amazing practitioners and all of the knowledge I've acquired over years and years of research, you can actually get my book on Amazon. It's in the description below. You can also check out my website, again, crystalprophecy.live. I put all of my information on there, everything, all my tools, my resources, my free guides, my free quizzes. I have retreats, and I have always once a month sound baths. If you'd like to partake in that, I will also be doing that now live and posting it via the once a month. If you want to be a part of that, you can subscribe for that and have a free copy sent to you. Thank you for letting me share my heart. Until next time, trust your archetype, follow your light, and keep sipping on that spirituality. You would like to hear more episodes about this, please let me know down below in the comments, or by liking, sharing, subscribing. It really helps me out. I want to get as many people on this planet my resources as possible, and you subscribing really helps me do that, interacting, making sure that you're being a part of the video. So thank you guys so much, and have such a wonderful day.